You can't beat a bit of water and a bridge. Always looks scenic and picturesque. But I'm not staying near the water's edge. I'm going off to the left of camera today, and I'm going to have a wander in a Holborn Hill Plantation. I want to have a look for juvenile Platybunus pinetorum. That's my hope. Whether I find them or not remains to be seen. So I best get cracking. And here's a view that is gradually being obstructed and grown over. Not too many years ago, this was a grass strip or a grass ride that used to be mowed, maybe just once a year. And on the left hand side, running up the side of the tree, there was a gallop, a soil gallop. Dennis and I used to like to walk up here, especially on days like this where it's breezy, because it was always largely sheltered. But it's not been cut for donkey's years. And now it's pretty much just a good shot for the video. It's limes both sides, and very mature limes as well, with copious amounts of sucker in, which lime always does. You've only got to look at street trees to see that. But I'm heading into the woodland on the right hand side, which is Holborn Hill Plantation, which is an area of beech woodland. Unfortunately it's under threat and it's coming down at some time, but we'll have a look and see what we can find. Hopefully it's not too windy and that the wind's not blowing across the phone's microphone too much. The strange noise is a squirrel. Probably thinks I'm after his nuts. But this is a bit of lime woodland, and it has a very different feel to any other type of woodland I've been in, to be honest. Probably because, say, the amount of suckering that you get from limes. Tilia is the scientific name for lime. These are probably Tilia cordata, if I remember right. From my Brackenhurst days, yes, it might surprise one or two of you that I did go to Brackenhurst. But these were obviously planted as a plantation originally, many years ago. So we're getting to the place where I first found Platybunus this spring. One particular adult that spent several weeks on the same trunk. It's an interesting species, Platybunus pinetorum, because there is no males. Certainly in the majority of the populations. In fact, a male of the species wasn't found in the UK until I think last year. I think it was at home birth, but as far as I'm aware, none have ever been found since. And I found good numbers of these through a lot of surveying this spring. Never did find a male. So it's yet another species that seems to be parthenogenic, meaning the females are self-fertile and are able to fertilise the eggs and produce young. Now it's a tree dwelling species. Well, certainly it spends the daylight hours on the tree trunks, usually between 1 foot and 8 foot from the ground. It's also a spring species, and of course now it will be juvenile, and I would like to find out whether the juveniles are found in the same situation as the adults. Are they existing catching insects, small insects on the tree trunks, or are they at the base of the trees in the leaf litter or under logs? And that's what I'm hoping to find out. But it's a cracking harvestman. It'd be nice if we can find a couple of juveniles and try and fill the gap in the knowledge. Well, here's one of the orders, or an example of one of the orders that you'll probably be seeing a lot of during the coming months. This, of course, is a centipede, and this particular centipede is extremely common, and it's by far the commonest of the centipedes in the Sherwood Forest area. It's a species that does like dry sandy soils, and this is Dichloropulpus easoni. This very small centipede, there's my grubby fingernail for comparison, is the smallest species really in Nottinghamshire. And this is Dichloropulpus truncorum. Obviously closely related to species I've just showed you, Dichloropulpus easoni, which is there, look, on that leaf. So there you get a chance to see the two. And Dichloropulpus truncorum, it's common, but very small. And off it goes. And I'll insert a photo to give you a better idea than that shot of exactly what it's like. Someone's old deodorant. Obviously some young lad trying to impress the girls. Must have stunk, that's what I can say. Oh, we've got Harvestman here, but it's not what we're after. That's Dichloropulpus Rhimosis. Probably. I've got to add the probably in because we now have Dichloropulpus caudatus in the UK. Right, now I've just caught a moth, and it's a moth that many people probably haven't seen before, and I think it's a moth that gets neglected and forgotten about, unlike its spring cousin. And the moth I'm talking about is a day-flying moth, and it's Diurnia lipsiella. From what I can see, it's rarely recorded, and I think it's due to the fact that it flies in daylight. It's quite insignificant and brown, and to be honest, could easily be mistaken for a caddisfly, and flies late in the year. And I've just managed to catch one in a pot. How well you get to see this or not, I don't know, but it's a species you could look for. I've seen it recently at a couple of sites now, and hopefully this is it. But there we are. It's quite well marked, and the last time I tried to photograph one of these, this is a species I've not seen a great deal. I think Dillis and I think we trapped it once, but there was one spot at one of the entrances to Budby, which was good for these on a decent day. But this is Diurnia lipsiella. I mentioned earlier in the video that I'd just seen Dichloropulpus rhimosis, or what's probably Dichloropulpus rhimosis. Dichloropulpus caudatus hasn't been found in Nottinghamshire yet, and probably is unlikely to unless I find it. Harvestman or Piliones as they are called, that's the order of Harvestman, and they are very much under-recorded. Dilys and myself did an enormous amount of work on Harvestman and produced county atlases showing the distribution of the known species, and which is in need of an update since I found Platybunus pinetorum. There's always something to update. I should stop finding stuff. Nah, can't do that. But anyway, this is Dichloropulpus rhimosis, more than likely. With it being late in the year now, all of these are starting to darken up, but you might just be able to make out what's called the Zorro mask, and I'll insert a photo of a specimen that shows this Zorro mask distinctly, because at the back of the ocularium where the eyes are, it has this black band which resembles the mask that Zorro wore, the old swordsman, you know, the young kids probably think, what on earth is he going on about again, as he sobered up. But anyway, there are 3 of these on this tree, and this is actually a young sycamore. And all the ones that are found are males, so I will take a specimen. I've no reason to suspect caudatus on any of the 3 that are on this tree, but what this one does show is the typical resting pose of Dichloropulpus rhimosis, where you have 4 legs either side. Well, this one would have 4 legs top side if it had 4 legs on that side. Harvestmen detach the legs to escape predators very easy. You can find harvestmen with any number of legs, up to 8. But this is, for now, Dichloropulpus rhimosis, and these can survive through to January. I think January is the latest we've had one, but we have had them survive the winter. Now here's something a bit different, to which you're now thinking, no it's not, it's just another bloody tree trunk he's showing us. But look at the patterns on this. It's not every sycamore that does this, but certain trees do for some reason, and they crack in these patterns. Almost sends you daft looking at them. Maybe I've looked at trunks too long, but it's the only tree that does this. A lot of sycamores don't. All the sycamores eventually start to crack the bark as they get older, and you can get some sycamores where the bark gets really flaky, but for it to crack in these patterns, there's a hint of almost circular patterns really, and these circular patterns sort of join up. It's quite psychedelic, isn't it? A psychedelic tree. Don't tell the youngsters, otherwise they'll be eating it. This brings back memories. Memories of Dilys standing out here saying I'll hold the camera and the coat and you get off in there. So I did, and I can't remember how far I got in. I know I got quite a way. If you remember one of the opening shots when I was telling you about the green grassy ride that used to be, well, that was about as far as I got. these tunnels, it was the middle one I went in, and they curl round, and they're part of the old drainage system from the river when there used to be water meadows, presumably, at the side of this river here. And these tunnels were built. And yes, I got so far in, you had to crawl in on your belly, and I only just managed to turn round. If I did turn round, I did have to go back out the way I came in. I can't remember. I've been to bed since then, but if you want to know why I went in there, well, cave spiders. I went to see if there were any. There's two species of cave spider. There's Metamonardi and Metabornetti, and it's Metabornetti, which is under an old GPO cover on the site of the old Sherwood Forest Visitor Centre. Metamonardi is only found right on the very edge of Nottinghamshire, on the Nottinghamshire side of Cresswell Crags. They're both very large orb weavers and like total darkness, so if you've got a cellar and you've got some great big orb weavers in that make a really big egg sac, let me know, as long as you're in Nottinghamshire, of course. And that's the reason why I went in. There were plenty of webs of Metamerianne, or Metalina Marianne, but no big cave spiders, and I managed to get out, much to your dismay, no doubt.